PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is doing irreparable damage to your ears, and there appears to be no fix in sight for the hundreds of thousands suffering from fatigue associated with the unbalanced audio mix. But there is a temporary fix we can apply ourselves, and I'm here to show you how. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG, is one of 2017's fastest rising games, topping the charts and becoming one of the most played games on Steam. But despite its popularity, the development team at Bluehole seemed to be awfully quiet about the complaints coming from its players about the dramatic audio level differences causing fatigue and potentially irreparable damage to their ears. There is a significant difference in the lower sound levels, such as footsteps and other player movement, and the loud cracks of a weapon firing or a plane bounding overhead. Many players will raise their game audio so as to hear enemy players' footsteps or gunfire in the distance, but in doing so, they also raise the volume of the explosions, gunfire, and vehicle mix to unhealthy levels. To understand why this is a problem, we first need to look at how the ear works. There are three parts of the ear anatomy: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The inner ear is also called the cochlea, a Latin word meaning snail, named after the distinctive shape that resembles a snail shell. Sound waves enter the ear canal through the outer ear and make the eardrum vibrate. This vibration in turn moves a tiny chain of bones in the middle ear. The final bone in this chain knocks against the membrane of the cochlea and makes the fluid inside the cochlea move. The fluid triggers a response in the auditory nerve in the inner ear. Exposure to excessive noise, in this case the sound of vehicles, explosions, and gunfire, can lead to permanent damage to your ears. One symptom of this damage is an ever-present ringing, otherwise known as tinnitus. Tinnitus affects millions of people, from musicians to laborers using loud equipment without hearing protection, and can even appear naturally as you age. There are steps you can take to protect yourself against tinnitus, from wearing sound dampening earplugs or hearing protection, to listening to music at more reasonable levels. But how do we protect ourselves from this irreparable damage in PUBG? The most obvious answer should be that Bluehole need to make serious adjustments to their audio mix for the game. Unfortunately, at this point, we cannot wait for them to implement a fix. So how do we fix it ourselves in the meantime? Short of just lowering the game volume and putting ourselves at a disadvantage over other players with louder volumes, we can actually compress our audio. So what exactly is compression? Audio compression is the process of lessening the dynamic range between the loudest and the quietest parts of the sound you are hearing. It boosts the quieter sounds and lowers the louder sounds, giving a more even mix rather than the dramatic noise level differences we currently experience in PUBG. To put it simply, it squashes or normalizes the sound in an even manner. So, how do we compress PUBG's audio so we don't have to deal with ear fatigue and minimize the risk of permanent damage to our ears when playing? It's actually quite simple, but it requires two applications to route the sound from your game through a compressor and into your headphones. The first application you need is called Voicemeeter Banana. Despite its odd name, Voicemeeter has become one of the more common virtual audio device mixers in recent years. It allows you to connect and mix any audio sources with any audio applications in an easy way. It features full equalization options, a noise gate, the act of cutting out low-level sound completely, and the thing that we want, a noise compressor. The second app we need is called VB Cable. It is a virtual audio cable that allows you to connect your game's audio into Voicemeeter. The links to these two free applications will be in the description below. After installing both VB Cable and Voicemeeter Banana, restart your system. Alright, so now that you've restarted your system, go ahead and open up your sound panel. If you are using Windows 10, you can open the start bar and type sound. In this panel, you should see all audio devices available for you to use. Take a note of what your current default audio device is, the one with a green tick next to it. In my case, it is the Focusrite USB, but yours may just be labeled speakers or headphones. Now, find a device named Cable Input and right-click. Select the Set as Default Device option, and you should now see a green tick next to the icon. You won't hear any sound from your computer at this point because the sound is all being routed into a virtual cable. We need to plug that virtual cable into an application. At this point, you can test that your sound is being routed into this cable by opening up a song or a YouTube video and watching the little green level bar bouncing up and down. So go ahead and open up Voicemeeter Banana. Upon opening Voicemeeter's interface, you may be overwhelmed by all the knobs and buttons available to you, but don't worry, we're only focusing on a couple of sections. On the top left, we have Hardware Input 1. Go ahead and click this and select the option KS VB Audio Points. This is telling Voicemeeter that we want to receive audio from the cable input we previously set as a default sound device. Next, select the A1 button at the top right of the window and select your original default audio device. Once again, in my case, this was the Focusrite USB, but in your case, it may just be speakers or headphones. You may possibly see several copies of your original audio device here with a prefix of either WDM, KS, or MME before it. If you have the option, select the KS prefix. If not, select WDM. Only choose MME if you have no other options, as this will add a delay to your audio that will provide problems in game later. If you've done everything right, the sound meters underneath Hardware Input 1 and the master section should be bouncing up and down, and you should be able to hear sound coming through the headphones and speakers from your song or your YouTube video. So now that we have our sound routed through Voicemeeter, we need to use Voicemeeter to compress our sound. Underneath the Hardware Input 1 section, you will see two circle dials. The left dial is for compression and the right is for gate. Don't touch the right gate dial. Instead, focus on the left compression dial. You can test what setting works best for you, but the higher you dial it in, the more compression you will hear with your sound. I set mine around the 6 mark. I find this is a comfortable setting for me. Pushing any higher would create too much of a compression and reduction of dynamics in sound, but your taste might be different. So go ahead and jump in game and try out your new audio settings. It might take you as little as a couple of games or as many as a couple of days to get used to the change in audio levels. But I assure you that you will, and you will have a slight advantage over other players once you realize you can hear every movement of the player in the house across from you. So when you've done playing PUBG for the night, simply close Voicemeeter and change your default sound device to the original device, and you will no longer be compressing your audio. I certainly recommend that you turn off the compression when listening to music or watching movies or whatever you do, as those songs and movies have been mixed by professionals that have spent a lot of time getting the right compression ratios to make the music pleasant for you. So, with all that said and done, I would like to make a plea to Bluehole Games. Please, fix the audio in PUBG. Too many people are suffering from fatigue and potentially getting permanent damage to their hearing. We all absolutely love your game. The community wouldn't be so passionate otherwise, but this is an urgent problem that needs immediate remedy. Alright, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed learning something new, and I sincerely hope that this compression works for you. If you did like it and want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and follow me on Twitter at @IamTomSnow. If not, leave a comment below and tell me why you think I'm wrong. Thanks again for watching. I'm Tom Snow. See you next time.